Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Club, where we're keeping it surreal and talking about all things odd, mysterious, and paranormal. This is show 14. Tonight, we're going to try something a little different. I know we were supposed to do another Kaufman Roundtable, but that kind of fell through. I had some other interviews I considered using for this show, but they're not quite ready to air. So, as I was pondering my options, my dear friend Ricky, thanks Ricky, sent me this local news article about a giant UFO over my hometown of Kansas City, Missouri. Well, that certainly bears some investigation. So, I dove headlong into a rabbit hole I think we all need to be talking about. Full disclosure. This show is candid, with mature content and some adult language, so be advised. You should also keep in mind that I've included some killer photos and videos in the YouTube version. So if you're listening to this, remember to check out the video too. You can find it easiest by browsing the video gallery on my website. If you're already watching the video, and before we dive in too deep, remember to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up too. You can also visit my Patreon page and become a subscriber so I can keep bringing you fun and freaky shows with colorful guests, interesting ideas, and amazing stories. My channels are full of fun little goodies that'll make you go, Patreon.com/The Rabbit Hole Club. If you want to follow me on social media, and please feel welcome to, you can find all of that on my new website, therabbithole.club. If you or someone you know would like to share a scare, a show idea, personal experience, or anything else odd and unusual, you can call my hotline at 816-514-5084. Leave a message there or send an email to submit@therabbithole.club. And now, on to the show. Full disclosure. Just what the hell is that supposed to mean? By traditional definition, full disclosure is, quote, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's, SEC, requirement that publicly traded companies release and provide for the free exchange of all material facts that are relevant to their ongoing business operations, unquote. That's not what we're talking about here. Three little letters not only alter this definition hugely, but also alter our reality completely. Those three little letters are U, F, and O. The definition for UFO full disclosure is, quote, the name given to the announcement by various world governmental leaders that we are not alone in the universe and that, in fact, many races of galactic human beings are here around this planet and have been for some time, unquote. While governments of the world are all dealing with this subject in their own ways, generally being cloaked in secrecy is the phrase they have most in common. For thousands of years, unidentified flying objects have been reported worldwide by every culture known to man. They've been recorded in writing, oral traditions, ancient paintings and etchings, and even cave drawings from all over the world. Most recently, there have been thousands of reports as well as photographs and some pretty impressive videos too. For great reference to all of this, go check out the show Ancient Aliens. It'll blow your mind, and maybe even broaden your horizons. Up until a couple of years ago, anyone who had their own experience with a UFO or even believed they were possible were labeled crazy, crackpot, or a conspiracy theorist. In my very full and unusual life, I've learned that anytime the government labels something as a conspiracy theory, I probably better go take a closer look at it. I can give dozens of examples of things they called conspiracies that suddenly got repackaged and released as fact. For instance, I've been bitching about chemtrails for well over 20 years, and everyone shot me down, telling me they were contrails. These photos I took in 2011. Lo and behold, a couple of years ago, the government came out with, quote, cloud seeding and geoengineering, unquote, which are the same damn things as chemtrails. Go look it up. It's super easy to research. Then, in April of 2020, while we were all reeling from the pandemic and being quarantined, the CIA declassified and released 3 little videos of what they call UAPs, filmed by their own Navy pilots. This first clip is called the Flir, I assume because it was recorded in the infrared heat spectrum. I couldn't find any sound with this one, and I know it looks a little confusing, but certainly interesting. The next 2 clips come with full sound, and you can hear the pilots talking to each other about what they're witnessing. They're obviously wound up over what they're seeing, and I would be too. Then there's the gimbal footage. Take note when they start talking about the fleet.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing. It's rotating.
And last, but not least, the Gofast.
Nickel 6-1 Tango, Roger, oh, got it! Woohoo! Roger, there's troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly!
What is a UAP, you ask? Well, it's the same damn thing as a UFO, only it's been repackaged with a new name which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. I'm not sure why they feel it's necessary to change the name, except for the obvious secrecy and deception. I think we're all smart enough to look at the phenomenon to see it's exactly the same thing, and that we've not only been lied to all these years, but there's something going on in our skies that we need to be aware of. Then, in January of 2021, the CIA declassified and released more content to the Black Vault. The Black Vault is a database of UFO and UAP and paranormal related information which is kept and maintained by a private company who's been petitioning the government for decades through the Freedom of Information Act. The declassified content of this database is now available to the public and online, but it only goes up through the 1990s. However, since this information has been released to the public, UFO sightings have gone through the roof. No pun intended. People are witnessing UFOs while they are alone, in groups, and even whole cities are seeing them together. For example, the Phoenix Lights of 1997, and then again in 2020. They were seen by thousands of people all across the state of Arizona, the state of Nevada, and even into Mexico's state of Sonora. Witnesses even included the governor of Arizona, Fife Symington, who initially made fun of his constituents, but later came back and admitted he was in awe and knew it was otherworldly at the time. They're appearing in great variety, too. There's the classic flying saucer, there's the cigar-shaped craft, there's white lights, orange lights, yellow lights, and red lights. Huge glowing orbs that appear in the sky, then start spitting out smaller glowing orbs, only to disappear like they were never there. There are fleets of glowing crafts moving at impossible speeds through the sky in tandem. And even humongous pyramids floating and rotating in the air over highly secure areas like the Pentagon. This pyramid-shaped anomaly was seen and recorded by many people as it rotated right over the top of the Pentagon. Although no one has said anything about this particular sighting officially, the CIA did admit in spring of 2021 that this IR footage of a leaked video, which is the same type of craft, is the real deal. Some of these images and videos have been taken by different people seeing the same anomaly at the same time from different vantage points from miles around. It's not just aerial craft sightings that are exploding all over the world either. Personal reports, images, and videos of classic gray aliens and strange creatures of varying types have hit an all-time high. Cryptids are a hot topic, some of which have produced some very credible scientific data in the last decade, to say the least. Now, I've spent the majority of my life being a special effects artist for film and stage, so I'm very aware you can create some pretty impressive stuff with FX in this digital age. Both computer-generated graphics and practical effects can be very convincing, and it's good to be discerning, but that goes both ways. I've made some pretty terrifying monsters in my day with silicone, latex, KY jelly, and corn syrup, but I've also seen some things that were completely out of this reality and were very real. That's where I get some of my best ideas sometimes. And to add to that, I've learned that not all things considered to be ugly are bad. That goes the other way, too. Not all things pretty are nice, either. That's when you follow your gut, which is what I tell anyone who wants to know. So, what do these beings want? And why is our government acting like a fool over this topic? These are the two big questions, aren't they? I suspect the answers are super diverse, just like the species involved are super diverse even within themselves. Think about it like this. You have a huge variety of creatures on this planet, every one of them with their own sense of intent and agenda, human beings being the most complicated. What makes us think these extraterrestrials or dimensional beings are any different? There are also collectives on our planet who, by geography, creed, or gender, act on and believe in their own thing. That's kind of what cognitive beings do. That might be contrary or even scary to someone who doesn't share their concept, but differences also help us to learn and grow, even when they're unpleasant. Again, I'm following my gut with any being, human or not. As for our governments, and I mean that in the plural, my gut doesn't feel very good about being lied to, repeatedly, for decades, about so many things I can't even count, and life beyond the immediate awareness certainly tops that list. The world governments are losing credibility at warp speed. It's easy to let your imagination run amok, when you don't know who or what to believe. So that's going to lead us to follow our own personal experiences as the best option. That's both terrifying and liberating. It's so easy to misjudge unknown stimulus, too. Where do we go from here? Wow. That question boggles my mind. This rabbit hole goes so deep. Even Ray Bradbury's head would go supernova if he poked it inside too deep. The implications are completely infinite in every way. Because I'm a glass half full kind of girl, I'm looking at this discerningly and cautiously, but with high hopes for glorious things. It's a scientific fact that observed photons act differently than ones not observed. That tells me I want to focus on all the good stuff I possibly can muster, and I would advise you to do the same. Well, we've come to the end of my show for this week. Special thanks to my wonderful boyfriend and my amazing family for getting this project off the ground and indulging me down this crazy rabbit hole. Next week, I think we'll talk a bit more about full disclosure and some of the theories out there. Don't miss it. Thanks for listening and keep it surreal.